Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you C++ programming language. As you know, C++ is a compiled language, that is, it converts your programming language into machine understanding language. Now this is done to the compiler. So today I'm going to use my compiler as VS Code. C++ basically targets all platforms such as Windows, Mac, and Linux. That is, you can run and execute the program in any of these platforms, and we can create various games and applications to C++ through C++ programming language. Since C++ is a case sensitive language, it differs while understanding with the capital letters and the small letters. For example, let's see this example. If I write, wait a second, if I write here int and int, it basically creates a keyword, basically creates a variable with data type int. I'll tell about it later, but for now let's understand that int is a keyword, and this int, it differs from this int because C++ is a case sensitive language. We have created a variable called int which is of data type int, or you can create uh, a. So now a is a variable of data type int, and yeah, that's it. Now let's do some programming. For the library we are going to use here is IOStream. So before execution of any program, you must include the standard library. So library we use here in C++ is IOStream. Yes, that's it. And now as you know, the execution of the program begins from the main. I'll be using here int main and curly braces. Always the execution begins from the main, and it is main begins and ends with two curly braces. Now to print any message, we'll be using the angle brackets, and the code to print any message, we use the command standard, then two colon. This double colon marks are known as scope resolution, and then cout operator. Cout is the command to print, and two angle brackets, and with the two inverted commas you can note that all the text you want to print should be within this double quotes. So let's type our first program, hello world, and always terminate the cout statement or the printf statement with a semicolon. Now let's save this program and run it, and you can see here, wait, let's open a new terminal, and now run this program. And you can see here hello world gets printed. Similarly, you can type various other things, standard, and then double colon or a scope resolution, and then cout, and then two angle brackets, then any other sentence like subscribe to my channel, and then terminate it with semicolon. Now let's save it and run it. You can see both the sentences get combined. So to avoid this, we can use, if we want to print in the next line, we use \n command. Now with the help of this \n, every sentence you type gets, every next sentence you type is printed on the next line. Now let's save it, and when I run it, you can see hello world and subscribe to my channel. Both gets printed in two different lines. Now you may ask question that why only double quotes? We can also use single quote, but the best practice is to use double quotes as used by many programmers. Now if you are tired of typing repeatedly standard, then the scope resolution and see out. You can include it here only by the function using. It's a keyword, and using after that you can type standard and then see out. Wait a second, I forgot to put scope resolution and then see out. Terminated with a semicolon. Every time you want to print something, you can just type see out, and with the angle brackets and inverted commas, let's type something. I am new to this channel, and to avoid it printing on the same line, I'm going to use \n command, and here also \n command. Now let's save it. So I forgot to put the semicolon. Let's put semicolon. You can see the errors in this problems. Now I'm gonna save it, and if I run it, yeah, you can see I'm new to this channel. So without using the standard and the scope resolution, just by writing cout, I can print my message by using standard cout function. Now, as you may know, this is C++ programming language. The extension used will be CPP, that is C++, which differs from .c. We use .c when we want to execute C language, but since it is C++, we'll be using .c++ CPP. Now, congratulations, you have completed your first program. Note that execution always starts from the main function. Now I'm going to teach you about the comments. Suppose if you don't want the compiler to read any of your sentence, you can use two forward slashes. See, as you can see, it has changed to green color. Now suppose you type here anything. Suppose, yeah, my name is Tejas, or welcome to my C++ tutorial. You can see when even if I save it and if I even run it, the compiler just ignores it, because the compiler considers it as comment. Comments are something like, if you want the compiler to ignore this line, you can make use of comments. The comments are basically used so that when other programmers are reading your code, you can write the instructions in the form of comments, so that they can understand your code properly and easily and effectively. Now, there are various variables in C++ programming language, such as int, and let me comment that out, such as int. Int usually stores the integer values. Then mm, there's another data type known as char. Not this, yeah, this char. It usually stores the strings or character letters. Now we also have something called as float. This usually stores decimal places or decimal values. It can also store integers, but usually it is used to store decimal values. And also we have double. It is also used to store some decimal values, but storage size of double is less compared to that of float. Yeah, that's it. You need to know about the data types, basic data types. And we can also use some data types, maybe user defined, which I'll be dealing with in further classes. Now, suppose you want to declare a variable, like I already said, int is a data type, and let us consider a variable as name. Yeah, name. So we have created an integer data type of variable name as name. We can store any integer value in the name. So name is equal to, suppose, 32 for example, terminated with a semicolon. Now the name, or else I'll give it as, for your better understanding, as number. Wait a second, number. Now number contains 32 as its value. So int is a data type, as you know, int is a data type which contains integer. So the name of variable is number, and number holds the value 32. So now in the memory system, 2 bytes of memory is allocated to store this 32 value under the variable name number. Now if you want to print the value of number, you can simply type cout and then angle brackets and then number, terminate it with a semicolon, save it, and when you run it, you can see number 32 gets printed. See here. Hello world, subscribe to my channel. I am new to this channel, and 32 gets printed here. As you can see, you can store any value, or you can store any integer value in int variable. Now, before assigning the value to the variable, you must always declare the variable first. You can also assign suppose values. Let's create another variable under int data type. Int I is equal to, suppose, 2 plus 2. Let's consider this. Actually it is 4, but let us write 2 plus 2. Now when I want to perform some operation, now I is equal to 2 plus 2. Now I can change the value to I is equal to I into some 3, I into 3. Now if I print it, see out the value of I, and I print the value of I. Wait a second. \n for a new line and semicolon. Yeah, that's it. And then similarly here, \n semicolon. Yes. Now let's save it. Now when I run it, 2 plus 2 is 4. Now 4 into 3 is 12. 12 value gets printed here. Let me show it to you. See, as you can see, 12 value gets printed here. You can also make use of, to store the decimal values, you can make use of float 4.9, suppose. Now if you want to print it, cout, and then wait a second, I have not assigned variable name, so it gives me an error. Float number 2, let us consider number 2 is equal to 4.9. Now when I run it, number 2, and then make use of angle brackets, double quotes, \n, semicolon. This \n is used to print the number in next line. Now when I save it and I run it, you can see 4.9 gets printed. Whereas if I put int and then j is equal to 4.9 and then save it and run it, it must give me a warning. Wait a second, when I print it. When I print it, it must give me a warning message. See, as you can see, it has only taken the part before the decimal point, that is 4. As you can see, when I print it, only 4 gets printed. The 0.9 part will not get printed because it is of it is not of the type int. It must either come under float or double. Now there are different operators such as comparing operators, which I'll be dealing with you in the next class. So this is just an introductory video. If you like it, subscribe, share and follow. Yeah, that's it. I'll be regularly uploading videos of all programming language. Comment which you want to learn first. Thank you.